Hello YouTube. We're gonna be reviewing the patch 12.10, which is the next patch, which is, well, it's gonna change the game actually, like entirely. And that's not even an over exaggeration, because it actually will do that. It will actually change the entire game. What champs are good, how the game is being played, and the meta will change massively. This might be good, or it might be bad. We'll see. It's really hard to say what's gonna happen, but we're gonna review all the changes and what I think they will do and what they mean for the game. And this is a very long list. I couldn't find these changes in the PBE, all these changes, like everything. Where I could find everything is this guy's Twitter. So we're just gonna use this. Everything that heals and shields is getting nerfed. Almost everything. From champions that heal or shield, to runes that heal or shield. Basically everything. And the reason why they're doing that is because everyone is becoming tankier with base stats. And some damage is getting nerfed. And by default, if the game is slower and people are dying slower, healing instantly becomes much better. Same with shielding. Because then burst matters less and you can actually get your shields off way more often. And the game is overall slower, so tankiness is just by default stronger. You have more time to heal and shield. That's basically the TLDR. It's very simple. So here are all the base stat buffs that every champion is getting. Every champion gets 70 more life or health, 14 health per level, 1.2 armor per level, and 0.8 MR per level. So every champion gets plus 308 HP, 20 armor, and 13.6 MR at level 18. So what this means is that champions that don't buy tank stats benefit from this the most, because relatively they're getting buffed the most. And tanks get the least out of this, basically. This is the best for ADC. Like this segment is the best for AD carry. AD carry benefits from this the most. Champions that buy tank stats don't benefit from it as much, but it's still better on fighters. But this is huge for ADC the most. And this is a huge change in general. This will make everyone much tankier. Assassins suffer from this the most. People that require one-shotting suffer the most out of this. And I know a lot of my viewers are Tryndamere players, and this will hurt Tryndamere one of the most out of the entire game. Tryndamere is one of the least enjoying champions when this goes live. Tryndamere is the only champ in the game that does not actually benefit fully from being tankier, because you will never have a perfect ult timing. So what I mean by that is you actually don't get to go to 1 HP like pretty much ever. So you're kind of wasting tank stats, because late game you're gonna ult at like, I don't know, 400 HP, 500 HP, maybe sometimes you even need to ult at 1000 HP because of being afraid of being bursted. So Tryndamere actually suffers from this the most, because he also is unkillable for 5 seconds, so him being tankier matters none when he's unkillable anyways. And everyone else being tankier is hard for him because he just has a harder time killing everyone in his ult. Now Jax likes this because this gives him a bunch of life, which is what he's missing. So he likes this because he lacks HP in his build, and he also gets resist from his ult. A downside is that he already gets resist from his ult, and now everyone else gets extra resist, so like relatively everyone else gets a lot and he doesn't get as much in terms of the resists. And also he does mixed damage, so he's getting boned by both of these at a resist. But regardless of that, this is still good for him because Jax is also a ramping champion, so the longer the fights last, the better Jax gets. You get multiple E's out, and you're not getting bursted as hard. So in general, this is still really good for Jax. Heals and shields, everything is getting nerfed, like I said earlier. Since everyone is tankier and some damage is getting nerfed, healing and shielding will automatically become much stronger. So they're nerfing heals and shields. We're gonna get to that, to those specifics later on. And they're also nerfing Grievous Wounds. I don't know why they're nerfing Grievous Wounds. I think they want the difference between not having Grievous Wounds and having Grievous Wounds to be like not as impactful. And they feel like since all healing is getting reduced by 10%, that you need to do this as well. Which is, I think this is not the right play, because I think healing will still be so overpowered after these changes that I think they will need to buff it back. That's my guess. but we'll see what happens. Here's some item changes with Conquer healing going down, Gorging Tear healing going down, Maw healing going down, Eclipse, Riftmaker, jungle items, Sunder, Bork, and Penetration is also getting nerfs. So because everyone is getting tankier, they're nerfing Penetration. So Penetration isn't like instantly overpowered. We'll see. I think these are not big enough nerfs. I think Pen is still gonna be really, really crazy. But yeah, these are some of the damage nerfs that's I was talking about that are also coming into the game. Look what they're doing. This is one of the balance designers in the game. And on his stream right now, it says, the champions who are nerfing healing are intended to be power neutral. If you have 20% more HP, EHP from stuff like armor and MR, then that means your heals are 20% stronger, which means that if we nerf heals by 20%, they will be the same power level. But that's like throwing a bunch of context out the window. This is like assuming that every champ is the same. Every champ builds the same items. Every champ has the same skills and everything. And I don't know if this is the actual thing that they're going for here, or if it's him just like trying to dumb it down for Twitch chat. And as you can see, they're nerfing like everything by around 20%. Basically everything. So here, for example, that's a 20% nerf. That's only a 10% nerf, I guess. But overall, they are nerfing like everything by around 20%, more or less. And why I think this is a huge problem is because not everything is as strong. Like there are more or less strong things in the game, and if you nerf everything by 20%, that's not gonna make it balanced. That's not gonna have it like, oh, it's the same, it's just that everything is a bit worse. That's not what's gonna happen. The item changes are pretty straightforward. Basically everything that shields or heals is like around 20% less. This is a good change, because this Sunfire will be really good after these changes, because every fight is just slower. Here's a nerf that will nerf Jax. In the earlier iteration, it said what, 20 to 18%, but they made it even more. And I think that's good, because I think it will be, Pen will still be really strong. Okay, so now we get to the champion specific changes, and some of these are pretty fucked. Some of these changes are pretty fucked. Also, one thing what was funny to me is like 2 lethality on Yumus. I don't think that's gonna save the item. I feel like 2 lethality is still not gonna save lethality. Lethality will be so much worse. We'll see. I think these, like, again, something like this is understandable, and I don't know if this is like even enough necessarily. But there's like some other really boomed ones. Like, why is Azir getting nerfed, by the way? This is one other thing. Why does Azir shielding get nerfed? I don't know. I find that weird. Something like this. I don't think every single champion needs to get changed like this. They're touching every heal and shield regardless of Kotnax and Nuance. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's what's bad about this. That's what I'm saying. This is a good nerf. I think Darius, this might need even more. This needs to be more severe, I'm pretty sure. I don't think this will be enough. I think Fiora will be so strong. But we'll see. I think Fiora is going to be one of the outliers that is just going to be straight up overpowered. I think Fiora is already overpowered, but I think she's going to be one of the best champs in the game. This is very good. I think this will probably need to be even more severe, to be honest. So look at this. This is one of the biggest outliers too. You think about Illaoi. Look about how big of a reduction this is. Like, that's insane. Like, these are not fair changes at all. That's what I'm saying. Like, you nerf everything by around like 20%. Or even more than that. Like, relatively, this is more than 20% even. And some champs are just getting like a slap on the wrist. And some champs that are just objectively even bad, like Illaoi is just an objectively bad champion. Why the fuck are we like completely booming Illaoi's passive here? So what I'm trying to say here is that I think it's pretty lazy in a way to do it this way. And I know Riot also, by the way, Riot already said that they are doing a very broad change across the board, like these show. And they're gonna do a B patch, like a patch very quickly afterwards, to nerf the most OP ones and buff the weakest ones. But I think like with this massive amount of changes, the game will still be like unbalanced for quite a while. It's gonna be really hard to balance this game for like some time. That's why I think, in my opinion, like doing this massive broad change is very, it's a bit lazy, but again, I can't tell until the patch actually hits. And also, this is very hard for me because I'm not a game designer, but again, all of these numbers are very relative to how the champions actually function and what items they buy. That's why the notepad I showed earlier of August stream that every single champ gets around a 20% reduction is like, it is pretty lazy, assuming that that's how simple it is. Because again, this is just completely disregarding what items and runes and everything every champ gets. So the numbers need to be very accurate, or at least not this lazy. Please expect the game to be really unbalanced after this patch. It's gonna be insane. I think something like this is very... I don't know if this is necessary. Again, I don't think Lissandra's a problematic champion at all. Also, this is a big burst of healing. It's not like a consistent heal either. Like, to me, this seems kind of silly. Something like Lulu is gonna be insane. Champs that I'm gonna call insane are Fiora, Vayne, Lulu, Sona, Seraphine, Aatrox, I think Darius. Why are they gonna be insane? So if everyone is tankier, everyone gets more HP and resists, and damage is lower, true damage instantly becomes much better, and percent damage. Also, if fights are slower, and everyone is tankier, healing and shielding, despite getting nerfed, is still gonna be relatively stronger, for sure. So any enchanters is gonna... I'm gonna guess that every enchanter is gonna go up in value. And something like Fiora with percent true damage will inherently become stronger. Yes, when it's a longer fight, you have more time to heal people up. Because if there's a bunch of damage, your healing or shielding doesn't matter as much because everyone dies so fast that you can maybe get a shield or a heal off, if even that. How will Darius be? I think Darius will be a good champion for sure now. Maokai nerf? See, again, I don't know. Look at this. Look at these numbers. Why is he getting nerfed this hard? No one plays Maokai, and I think the champ is pretty shit, but I don't know why they're nerfing it this hard. Wow. Wow, look at this Q heal. 30 less, plus minus 1 or minus 15% AP ratio. And Rakan is like... Rakan, I don't see him thriving very well in like slow fights. I feel like if he doesn't get kills with his ult, with like real... I'm just gonna say Rakan is gonna suck. I'm gonna say Rakan sucks. This again, like watching this, again, I'm not sure, I'm not 100% certain about like almost anything. This is just how I see it, okay? I wanna put that out there. That what I'm saying is not 100% fact, and I will be probably wrong about some things. I'm just saying what I feel right now. Watch reading these changes, and I'm gonna say Rakan is probably gonna suck. Good. That should have been happening regardless. Rengar dodge nerfs, that's pretty funny. Oh yeah, Skarner nerf, yeah. Champ was a problematic, you know. Was just too problematic, so we had to nerf Skarner. Okay, so here we get to the champion that we all know and love. That's a good reply. See, the thing is about Tryndamere, is like I mentioned earlier, is that he's one of the champs that really hates these changes. But this is like such an insane nerf, and I think Tryndamere will straight up suck balls. Yes, you will die to turret shots. Tryndamere will suck. I'm gonna call that as well. That Tryndamere will be a bad champion if this is the way he's getting changed. Because not only the game system changes nerf him, but this also nerfs him. Like really hard. Because again, if the champion can't sustain properly, he sucks because he has zero trading. So sadly, if this goes through, I'm gonna say Tryndamere sucks. This is so big. Again, something like this is gonna make Warwick heal so much less because it's a spammable ability. It's a spammable ability, so everything that is spammable means that this gets multiplied. So it's very different when we talked about Lissandra's ult. So if Lissandra ult gets casted once a fight, of course only, then it's like, you know, eh. But this shit adds up so much because you will keep using Q in fights, in lane, in team fights, in a 1v1. Yumi doesn't get healing nerfs, which is pretty funny. Yumi not getting heal nerfs. If she doesn't actually get any heal nerfs, she's gonna be busted as well. For sure. There's no way that she's not. Again, Yumi is someone that thrives off of slow fights. Like, having some poke. Poke is just gonna be better. Something like Yumi Ezreal is gonna be insane. Oh, Yumi Ezreal. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, those, like I said, I'm not gonna go through like all of them. I'm not gonna read through all of them, but pretty much everything that heals or shields on a champion will be 10 to 20% less effective. And there's some outliers, to say the least, I guess. And I don't think these changes are specific enough. There are clear winners and losers. And for me, it's hard to say because it's gonna depend on so many things that how much these changes mean because of the items you buy and the runes you take. So it's just gonna have different meanings, and I can't say much about those, but we're gonna see a lot more when the patch hits. TLDR, I'm gonna call Tryndamere bad, Jax even better, Darius good, even better for sure, probably overpowered, maybe, not sure, but maybe. ADC overpowered, Enchanter's overpowered, Fiora overpowered, even more overpowered. Something like Vayne overpowered. Kog'Maw is probably gonna make a rise. Something like Karthus is gonna be much worse. Much worse. Something like LeBlanc is gonna be worse, definitely. Just assassins in general are not gonna enjoy. Talon, LeBlanc. I think Sinch will be even more overpowered than he already is. I think Sinch is already really OP, but he's gonna be even more OP. Since he's one of those champs that no matter how OP Sinch is, no one will play him because he's so fucking boring. Except Kuba, I guess. Kuba is the only one. Kuba and some other freaks who like Singed. It's hard to say. But like what I mentioned, those are my takes, and that's what I can tell. Or, well, I can't tell for sure, but what I'm gonna guess.